I love a man with a good title. Dave Harding is the executive director of the Blue Devil Network. He does color on football games, and he is my friend, and we are, a week away. Less than 8 days away. It's a week away officially from today, right?
That's right.
1 week from today, Duke and Elon. I don't even know what day it is. I am, I am 58.0054 years old. So I don't even know what day it is. Dave Harding, let's talk a little Duke football. How you been, man?
I've been great. I can't believe that we're a week out, but I'm excited. I think we're poised for another exciting year in Durham from a football perspective. And I tell you what, I've really been enjoying this false fall weather that we've had going on, but I know we'll be right back at the Devil's doorstep before you know it.
That's right. This is false fall. We have with like 12 seasons here in North Carolina. This is false fall. All right, first of all, let's start with the head coach. 2 years of Mike Elko was great. The team looked absolutely the part last year on the defensive side of the ball. They had a stud at quarterback in Riley Leonard and beat Clemson, put a scare into Florida State. Probably should have beaten Notre Dame, to be honest, if we're talking about that truthfully. But let's talk about Manny Diaz and what he brings to Durham before we get to any players.
I think Manny Diaz, similar to Mike Elko, is a player-first kind of coach. And he came in and did a great job of focusing on the locker room. Not about him, not about his coaching staff. He put the attention on the group of players in the locker room, and I think they respect that tremendously. He did an excellent job of bringing in some really good talent through the transfer portal immediately. And it's basically a scenario where the players are the ones that are going to go out and win these games. And so why not? My job is to basically put them in the best position to do so, to go have a really fun time and to compete at a high level. And that's kind of been the common theme through camp. It's high energy, it's well organized, and I think he's an excellent fit for what the administration and overall what the university is trying to do from a football perspective.
Dave Harding is joining us here, Executive Director, Blue Devil Network. That is such a very cool title. So at quarterback, they made the announcement last week or earlier this week, that it was going to be Malik Murphy, the transfer in from Texas, who was going to be the starter. And people remember Riley Leonard and how dynamic he was as a player. That was more as a runner. I'm not sure Riley Leonard wasn't more runner than he was. I'm not sure he was, for me, more runner than he was thrower. Murphy is the opposite, is he not?
He is. He is the opposite. I'll tell you the first thing. I got to see him walking through the hallway of the football center in the spring. And he's like 6'5", probably 240. I don't know what his exact record. I thought he was like a defensive end transfer. He is a physical specimen. Right. And then you see him on the field. It all comes together, and you realize the power that he's got and the leverage on the football. He can just let it rip. And so he isn't the athlete necessarily that Riley Leonard is. When someone says Riley Leonard, my first thought goes to that Clemson game and kind of the ability to turn a negative yardage, what would be a sack, into a touchdown. I think what's exciting about Malik Murphy and his skill set is he puts pressure on the defense vertically. And you combine that with Jonathan Brewer, the offensive coordinator who just came from SMU, and what he's trying to do with wanting a balanced offense, yes, but to have an offense that is highly efficient in the pass game, I think it's the perfect fit when you think about scheme and a skill set that Malik brings to the game.
Dave Harding is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I expect a Cold Tub Chronicles. Do you do that anymore? I expect that.
I don't know. That was pre-executive director days. I don't have to sell out and get in the cold tub like I did before. But I'd be willing to do it.
We should have a Throwback Thursday Cold Tub Chronicles. Dave Harding and Malik Murphy. All right, so in the passing game, to me, it was one of the best stories in all of college football last year. The emergence of Jordan Moore, who went from quarterback to wide receiver like in a week and became one of the best wide receivers in the league. I mean, I don't even know. That's just a natural fitting. It must have been somewhere in his football playing background where he played some wide receiver, because you can't make it look that right that quickly without it. Those two have to have been spending a lot of time together.
Yes, I think it was basically, okay, Malik, you're on campus. Let's get you checked into your dorm later and introduce you to Jordan Moore real quick, because you guys are going to have to know each other. And you can tell that relationship has grown very quickly. They are both, talking to each other all the time at practice and on the field. I know they're both natural leaders for this team. And when I watched Jordan Moore practice, a lot of the reason I think for his success initially was his athleticism. Mm-hmm. Just a really freak athlete that makes the difficult moves and being able to contort your body in certain ways look easy. And I've always been jealous of people like that. For me to run 10 yards down the field, it looks like I'm running 20 yards down the field. And for him, it's just gliding, it's easy. And then you pair that now with the work ethic that is second to none. This guy, even though he's been hyped up and he's got plenty of game tape to rest, and he could easily kind of ride the coattails of what he's already done into this season. He's been out there grinding and getting better, learning this system even more, polishing what he is as a receiver. So I think for him, he's excited given the arm. I mean, Malik Murphy's arm is stronger than anybody that we've got on the roster. Any quarterback that we've seen, maybe back to Daniel Jones, you can make the argument probably launches better game than Daniel even could.
Right.
So you've got Jordan Moore just licking his chops. And by the way, this is a wide receiver room. Not only that they're excited about Jordan Moore, but you've got Eli Pankel, Hagan, Harvey. These are players that have been around, that are mature, they're older. You've got an offensive line that's comprised of some transfers and some younger players. You got, a smattering of experience up there. But it's an offense that's really going to lean on the skill positions at receiver, Jacquez Moore at running back, and then Malik Murphy. And I think it's important to note too, Adam, that Grayson Loftus just lost the quarterback. Well, I guess he didn't lose. He just wasn't named number one.
Right.
I don't know if there's necessarily someone who lost it. It's just Malik rose above. But this is a team where you've got, and the age-old adage of you're only as good as your two deep, a quarterback that's very capable of coming in and winning games in the ACC. I mean, if it wasn't for the freak that Drake May was last year, you had a true freshman, Grayson Loftus, come in and almost lead the Blue Devils to an overtime victory over their arch rival in Chapel Hill. So Duke's got some depth where it matters, and I think this was a true quarterback battle, and they told Malik, you got to come in and win it. It's not just going to be given to you. And this is the first time that he's been able to do that. Texas, he played some games, but wasn't the guy. So it'll be interesting to see how he is with that kind of pressure on him, and with a receiver room that's very, very good.
Dave Harding, Executive Director, Blue Devil Network. Before we say goodbye, we got to talk about defense, because that's really where Duke, I thought, looked even maybe better than Clemson a year ago. The defense was just so legit. The entire defensive line has to be replaced, half of which I believe is still on NFL rosters. So that just shows people just how good Duke was defensively. How do they go about the business of doing that? And Manny Diaz, that's his bread and butter. So butter it for me, if you will.
Yes. Oh, I like extra butter on my bread. And, I think the butter to this is the scheme. And you talk about what Manny Diaz and his background is. You pair that with Jonathan Patke, the defensive coordinator. They've got a long history together. This is going to be an aggressive defense. This is one that is designed to take into consideration what an offense is trying to do, different offensive schemes and the fundamentals of an offense, and throw a wrench into those plans schematically. They're bringing pressure often, and they do a good job of disguising that pressure and bringing varieties of pressure. So for an offensive play caller, but also a signal caller as a quarterback, it's a lot of stress. You've got heat immediately that you've got to deal with. You pair that scheme with a defense that is really sound, especially in the secondary. You did lose a lot up front. The Dwayne Carter, Jamion Franklin, those guys were really good along the defensive line. It's going to be tough to replace those one for one, but there are people like Aaron Hall. VJ Anthony got a lot of play last year at defensive end, a local product from Jordan High School in Durham. There are players that they're excited about there to step up. It's the secondary with Chandler Rivers, Jalen Stinson. So many really good players that are, from a Duke perspective, household names that can step in and carry the burden of this defense. And when I say that the scheme, there's going to be a lot of secondary pressure and people blitzing from all different angles. That does put a little extra on the plate of the secondary, be able to run with people down the field. And Manny Diaz, Jonathan Patke both feel like the secondary and the strength there is going to allow them to have the schematic advantage and the players to go along with that.
Dave Harding, Executive Director, Blue Devil Network, color analyst, Duke Radio, my friend, lover of fine wines, soon to be father of two. Sir, I can't wait to talk to you throughout the season. The season is here, I guess, since it starts tomorrow at noon in Ireland. You and I will talk very soon and very often during the year. I appreciate your time. Best of luck to everybody, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Sounds good. Hey, if we're going to bring something back, let's not bring back the Cold Tub Chronicles. Let's bring back Thick Thursday, so we got to go eat with the offensive line and just a smorgasbord every week. All right.
I don't know. I would kind of like to see Cold Tub Chronicles.
Let's do a pairing. Cold Tub Chronicles on Thick Thursday.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Let's book it.